February 8, 1945. Peenemünde, Nazi Germany's most restricted weapons laboratory. A man weighing 84 pounds is standing on the tarmac, preparing to steal a heavy bomber. The aircraft is a Heinkel HE-111, 2 engines, a 74-foot wingspan. It is a machine designed for elite crews with months of specialized instruction. Mikhail Deviatayev has never sat in this cockpit. He has never touched German controls or read German instruments. To the guards, he is not a pilot. He is number 104534, a Soviet prisoner of war in striped rags who has not eaten a full meal in 8 months. His muscles have wasted away so completely he can barely lift his hands above his head. In exactly 47 minutes, this dying man will crawl into the pilot's seat. He will start the engines, taxi past armed sentries, and lift off from one of the most heavily defended airfields in the Third Reich. He intends to fly 300 kilometers through enemy skies while being hunted from the ground and the air. A Heinkel requires 50 pounds of physical force just to pull back the control column during takeoff. Deviatayev weighs 84 pounds total. He is attempting this with 9 other prisoners. These are men so starved they have forgotten the sensation of strength. They have no weapons, they have no tools, they have no map and no radio. All they have is one fighter pilot who refuses to die in a cage. This is the story of the most impossible escape of World War II. It is also the reason the Soviet Union tried to bury the truth for 12 years. July 1944, 6 months earlier. Lieutenant Mikhail Deviatayev banks his Yak-1 fighter through a wall of anti-aircraft fire over Lviv. 17 confirmed kills, 2 orders of the Red Banner. He is one of the finest pilots in the Soviet Air Force. Then, a German Focke-Wulf dives from the sun. Cannon rounds shred his engine. The Yak shudders and drops like a stone. Deviatayev bails out at 2,000 feet. When his boots hit the ground, German soldiers are already waiting. They move him to a prisoner of war camp, but Deviatayev remains a soldier. He tries to escape and is caught. He tries again and is caught again. After his 3rd attempt, the Germans lose patience. They no longer view him as a prisoner. They reclassify him as a dangerous subversive. They ship him to Sachsenhausen, a Nazi concentration camp. 30,000 prisoners, gas chambers, a death rate of 800 men every month. Deviatayev arrives in the late summer of 1944. The decorated ace is reduced to a number, 104534. The routine is simple: 12-hour shifts, 700 calories a day. The average survival time is 4 months. You work until your body consumes its own heart. Then you die. Deviatayev watches the men around him collapse. He watches the smoke rise from the crematorium every single night. He decides he will not become that smoke. But escape is a fantasy. Electrified fences, machine gun towers. Deep in the German heartland with no papers and no language skills. Then, in October 1944, the Nazis give him an opening. They need technical laborers for a high-priority project. Deviatayev volunteers immediately. He has no idea where the train is headed, but anywhere is better than waiting for the gas chamber. Peenemünde, the island of Usedom on the Baltic Sea coast. The prisoners arrive under the cover of darkness. In the morning, Deviatayev looks out at the facility and realizes where he is. Rockets are rising from the ground like giant silver bullets. Peenemünde, the most advanced weapons research center in Nazi Germany. This is the birthplace of the V-1 and V-2 missiles, the rockets currently terrorizing London. To the guards, Mikhail Devyatai is just a slave, a disposable body. Number 104534. He is assigned to the airfield next to the rocket site, but he is not looking at the dirt. He is looking at the wings. He sees Henkel He-111 bombers sitting on the tarmac. He sees Messerschmitt fighters taxiing to the runways. Transport planes are landing every hour. Mikhail Devyatai is recording every detail. He notes the flight schedules. He tracks which aircraft are fueled. He memorizes the guard rotations. The Nazis think he is a slave. They are wrong. He is a fighter pilot with 17 kills. Put him in a cockpit and he is a lethal threat. But there is a massive problem. German engineering is a foreign language. The Henkel He-111 cockpit is a wall of over 100 switches. Every label is in German. He cannot read them. His muscle memory is built for single-engine fighters. The Henkel He-111 is a twin-engine bomber. It is heavy. It is complex. It is heartless. The clock is ticking. The average prisoner at Peenemünde lasts 8 weeks. Mikhail Devyatai has been here for 3. He begins to study. Every labor detail becomes a mission. He watches the mechanics service the engines. He stares at the pilots as they run pre-flight checks. He matches every movement to a function. Through silent observation, he is building the machine in his mind. One specific aircraft catches his eye. A Henkel He-111 with the letters GA painted on the fuselage. It is the personal plane of the deputy commandant. It is kept in constant readiness for urgent flights. It is always fueled. This is his target. He has the plane. Now he needs a crew. But in a concentration camp, trust is a luxury no one can afford. The system is built on betrayal. Guards use prisoner informants to trade escape talk for extra soup. Solidarity is dead. Mikhail Devyatai needs men who are unbreakable, men who have nothing left to lose. He starts with Ivan Krenog, a former sergeant, a massive man. Ivan Krenog has already tried to escape twice from other camps. Both times they caught him and beat him within an inch of his life. He is done waiting for the end. To Ivan Krenog, a bullet during an escape is better than dying of exhaustion in the mud. Through Ivan Krenog, Mikhail Devyatai begins to build a cell. It is a slow, dangerous process of testing men through whispers before revealing a plan that is pure, suicidal madness. He recruits Vladimir Sokolov, a tank mechanic captured at Kursk. He knows engines. Next is Mikhail Yelets, an infantry soldier who is small, fast, and silent. Then Pyotr Kutan, an artillery observer. He is the man you want beside you when the world starts burning. One by one, the team forms. 10 desperate prisoners. 10 men who plan to steal a Nazi bomber. The odds are impossible. They have 0 weapons. They have no tools to break into the cockpit. They have no knowledge of the airfield security protocols. Mikhail Devyatai is betting on one single factor: surprise. No prisoner has ever attempted to steal an airplane. The guards do not even consider it a possibility. They watch the fences for cutters. They watch the ground for tunnels. They never watch the aircraft. The plan is simple, but the execution is terrifying. Step 1. Kill the guard in silence. Take his uniform. Step 2. march the prisoners across the tarmac as a fake work detail. The man in the stolen uniform leads them. It is a sight the base sees every day. Step 3. Reach aircraft GA. Overpower any personnel nearby. Step 4. Get inside. Start the engines. The 5th step is the longest. Fly 300 kilometers east to reach Soviet lines. Every single move is a gamble with death. If they march the wrong way, they are caught. If they pick the wrong plane, it won't start. If they move too slow, the reinforcements arrive. If the engines fail, that aircraft becomes a metal coffin. Even a bad takeoff means a crash. Even a good flight means getting shot down. 10 steps to freedom. Any one of them ends in a mass grave. Devyatai doesn't lie to them. He tells his men the truth. They are probably going to die. But staying in this camp means they are definitely going to die. Every man chooses the gamble. The date is set, February 8th, 1945. It is 11:30 in the morning. A light snow drifts over Peenemünde. The visibility is fading. It is the perfect veil for a suicide mission. Devyatay's group is sent to the runway for maintenance. It is a routine detail. 10 prisoners, 1 guard. They have played this part for weeks. The Germans see nothing suspicious. This guard is young and new. He doesn't recognize their faces. He isn't paying attention. That is his final mistake. They work with agonizing slowness, waiting for the window. Ivan Krenog is the muscle of the group. At 12:15, the guard steps into a drainage ditch to relieve himself. He is out of sight of the towers. He is alone with 10 desperate men for 30 seconds. Krenog strikes. A shovel swings through the cold air. It connects. The guard collapses without making a sound. They strip the uniform off the body. Ivan Krenog pulls it on. The fabric stretches tight across his broad shoulders. It's a bad fit, but in the swirling snow he looks like a soldier. Now they aren't prisoners. They are a work detail under armed escort. Krenog barks orders in a guttural, jagged German. The 9 prisoners fall into a perfect line. They march toward the airfield. Their hearts hammer against their ribs. Their eyes stay locked forward. Every meter is a choice between life and execution. The planes are 400 meters away, then 300. A real Wehrmacht soldier approaches with a rifle slung over his shoulder. The group doesn't flinch. Krenog shouts an order that makes no sense. The soldier just shrugs. The accent is wrong, but Peenemünde is full of foreign volunteers. He lets them walk past. 100 meters left. Aircraft GA is sitting on the tarmac. 2 German mechanics are tinkering with the frame. It is routine work. The engines are ice cold, but the fuel tanks are topped off. This is the moment. The group reaches the bomber. Krenog gives the signal. The prisoners swarm the Heinkel He 111 as if they have orders to fix it. The mechanics look up, blinking in confusion. They weren't told about a work crew. Before a question can be asked, Kutan and Yelets strike. Fists and elbows move fast. The mechanics are unconscious before they hit the concrete. Devyatay lunges for the cockpit. The door swings open. He pulls himself inside. A wall of 100 gauges and levers stares back at him. Labels he can't read. Systems he has never seen. He has maybe 3 minutes before the alarm sounds. Mikhail Devyatay, prisoner number 104534, weighs only 38 kilograms. He is a walking skeleton. He sits in the pilot's seat of a Nazi bomber and tries to remember how to fly. The air inside smells of oil, leather, and high-octane fuel. Everything is German engineering. Everything is precision. Every switch has a cold, logical purpose. From a distance, Devyatai had watched Nazi pilots perform their pre-flight rituals. He has the hand movements burned into his memory. But watching a sequence is not the same as mastering the machine. He finds the fuel primer, pumps it, flips the ignition switches. Silence. 9 men are shoving into a fuselage built for 5. They are watching him. Devyatai is frozen in the pilot's seat. "Start it," someone snarls. He is missing a step, a part of the sequence the Germans used that he never understood. Battery switch. He scans the dials. He finds a toggle and throws it. The panel hums to life. He tries the ignition again. The left engine coughs, chokes on the cold, then roars. The propeller turns into a blur. Now the right. Prime, ignite, fire. Both engines are screaming now, but they are still on the ground. Devyatai has never steered a twin-engine beast. It is a dance of brakes. Left pedal to turn left. Right to turn right. Screw it up and you spin. Get it wrong and you flip. He releases the wheel locks. The Heinkel He 111 begins to roll. It is moving too fast. He is heading straight for a parked aircraft. He slams the left brake. The bomber lurches. It tilts on its gear. The men in the back are slammed against the walls. Someone curses. Devyatai finds the center. Gentle touches keep the nose straight. Behind them, the Germans are finally awake. Shouts cut through the wind. An alarm wails across Peenemünde. 500 meters to the runway. A truck screams out from behind a hangar. Soldiers are hanging off the sides, racing toward them. 400 meters. The truck is closing the gap. If they reach the wing, it is over. A single bullet through the glass or the tires ends the dream. 300 meters. He reaches the center line and swings the nose. The truck is 100 meters behind. He hammers both throttles. The Heinkel He 111 weighs 14,000 kilograms. To fly, it needs 400 meters of speed. To lift the nose, the pilot must pull the column with 50 pounds of force. Mikhail Devyatai weighs 38 kilograms. He is a walking skeleton. His muscles have been eaten by 8 months of starvation. He pulls. The column does not budge. He is not strong enough. The end of the runway is coming. The soldiers are jumping out of the truck. Rifles are leveled. 10 seconds of concrete left. Then the fence. Then a crash. Devyatai screams for help. Vladimir Sokolov and Pyotr Kutan lung forward. They grab the metal column with him. 3 pairs of skeletal hands pull with everything they have. The column moves an inch. Then 2. Bullets shatter the air around the cockpit. Someone in the back screams. The nose tilts up. The vibration stops. The wheels leave the earth. Aircraft GA, a Heinkel HE 111 carrying 10 escaped prisoners, is airborne. It is 12:21 p.m. on February 8, 1945. They rise into the gray sky. Snow whips against the wings. The airfield shrinks into the mist. For a moment, there is silence. The air defense batteries at Peenemünde erupt. Black plumes of flak bloom around the stolen bomber. Shrapnel hammers the fuselage like hail on a tin roof. Lieutenant Mikhail Devyatai wrenches the yoke. He banks west to bait the pursuers, then cuts north over the freezing Baltic. Finally, he swings the nose toward the only thing that matters: east. For 2 minutes, the German gunners track the silhouette. Then, the Heinkel He 111 vanishes into the cloud bank. Inside the cockpit, it is pure carnage. A jagged piece of metal rips through a prisoner's flesh. There are no medkits, no morphine. A man shreds his own filthy prison rags to plug the bleeding. Devyatai stares at the dashboard. The German dials are a foreign language. Radios are useless. Beacons are dead. Navigation charts are nothing but ink and paper. He has a compass and a prayer. He flies by raw intuition. 2,000 meters up, 280 kilometers per hour. He watches the fuel needle drift toward empty, unable to even read the units of measurement. Every kilometer is a gamble. Below them, the landscape is a blur of German steel and occupied forests. They are 200 kilometers from the Soviet lines. Devyatai pushes the throttles forward. Every minute in the air is a minute closer to home. 50 minutes in, the left engine begins to scream. A black ribbon of smoke trails behind them, a literal scar across the sky. The damage from the flak is finally taking hold. The Henkel He 111 yaws violently to the left. Devyatai's muscles ache as he wrestles the controls, trying to balance the dying machine. 60 minutes. The earth below transforms into a graveyard of craters and scorched timber. The front line. But there is no welcome party. The Soviet batteries see a German silhouette, and they do not hesitate. What follows is the peculiar, systemic cruelty of the Soviet machine. Something so absurd it would haunt these men forever. If you want to see more stories of impossible survival, subscribe. It helps the channel grow. The Soviet gunners see a Henkel He 111 and open fire. Red tracers stitch the air. Devyatai tries to evade, but the bomber is too heavy, too broken. Bullets tear through the metal skin. Men scream in the back. The left engine doesn't just fail, it disintegrates. Flames lick the wing. Hot oil coats the glass. The aircraft loses its grip on the air and begins a sickening plunge. 1,000 meters. 600. Devyatai can see the individual faces of the soldiers in the trenches below. They are staring up at the falling bomber. 300 meters. He has seconds to find a patch of dirt that won't become their shared grave. He has two choices. Gamble on reaching a proper airfield while the last engine fails, or drop this metal coffin into the dirt right now. He picks a white expanse of snow. He hauls back on the yoke. The Henkel He 111 strikes the earth with the force of an artillery shell. The landing gear snaps like dry twigs. The fuselage screams as it grinds against the permafrost. Steel rips. The propellers shatter into jagged blades of flying shrapnel. A wall of white erupts around them. For 200 meters, the GA disintegrates, shedding skin and bone across the ice before finally stopping. Lieutenant Mikhail Devyatai is breathing. He is bleeding and trembling. He looks over his shoulder. 9 shadows are stirring in the cabin. Every single one of them lived. Get out, now. They tumble through the hatches and collapse into the drifts. They crawl through the freezing slush as fuel hisses against the scorching engines. Figures emerge from the distant trenches. Soviet infantry. They are running hard, rifles leveled, screaming orders in Russian. Devyatai pulls himself upright. He is a walking skeleton in tattered stripes, soaked in blood and aviation fuel. He weighs 38 kilograms. Do not fire. We are your own. We escaped from Peenemünde. The soldiers stare. They see ghosts, not heroes. They ask who the hell these men are. I am Lieutenant Mikhail Devyatai, Soviet Air Force. We just stole this bomber from a secret Nazi base. The infantrymen exchange glances. Nobody believes a word. This is where the nightmare truly begins. Counterintelligence seizes them on the spot. They are not handled as legends. They are treated as suspects. The interrogations last for weeks. How are you still alive? Why did you survive when millions perished? How does a Soviet prisoner learn to fly a German aircraft? Are you a spy? A collaborator? Deviate gives them everything. The blueprints of Peenemünde, the V-2 rocket specs, the secret launch sites. This intelligence would eventually put a Soviet man in space. But there is no gratitude. They dump him into a penal military unit, still marked by suspicion. The war ends 3 months later. Deviate is released. But his rank is gone. His pilot status is stripped. No one calls him a hero. He returns home to a wall of silence. His file is stamped classified. The Soviet doctrine is cold. Real soldiers die in battle. Anyone who survives a camp is a traitor. For 12 years, Mikhail Deviate is a forgotten man. While the state uses his secrets to reach for the stars, he works a menial job in total obscurity. Then, in 1957, the silence breaks. The legendary rocket scientist Sergei Korolev finally tells the High Command the truth. Without this man's escape, the Soviet space race would have stalled. On August 15, 1957, over a decade after his flight, the truth prevails. Deviate is named Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor possible. It was the same escape his own government tried to bury. He was a starving prisoner who stole a Nazi bomber. He flew through enemy fire. He saved 9 lives, and his country treated him like a criminal for 12 years. Sometimes the battle isn't surviving the enemy. It is surviving the peace that follows.